What is up guys, JayFerGaming here, welcome to my first discussion about F1 2017. It's that time of the year where we're getting ready for the new game coming in probably about 4 months I reckon now, so it would be in development now. We've seen all the other YouTubers and some other guys testing the early stages of the game and we're just all getting very excited. But if you are new to my channel, do remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and there will be 2 more parts to this. The second will be about career mode, and third will be about online. This one's about just general racing, and I've got a notepad with a load of notes of my ideas just for just racing on the track really, and a few other things around that, like different modes. It's not really in an order, so we'll see how it pans out. But first up is like when you start a race, just kind of like the race intros, cutscenes, the commentators, that kind of thing. Of course, at the moment we have Crofty, and in my opinion, he is very annoying. I don't like him as a commentator, but I think as the voice of Sky Sports F1, we've got to have him in there. But why is he with Anthony Davidson? I mean, he, I think, only does practice sessions. I don't have Sky F1, so I can't confirm that. But why isn't Martin Brundle in the game? Does he cost too much? I don't know, because Martin Brundle is the voice of F1, just like Murray Walker used to be. He's a legend of the sport. We need him in the game, and alongside Crofty, I feel like they have a decent chemistry, and we've just got to get him in there, and he'd make things more interesting in general. But like the cutscenes before the race, after you've seen them once and heard them, you've heard pretty much all of them, because they are very similar indeed, and maybe a few variations per track, per situation. We could do with a few more different angles before the race, because it's the same things over and over again. Like the view of the track is the same every Australian Grand Prix, for example, and it could do with a bit of variation just to mix things up for the viewer, instead of just leaving us to skip that kind of thing. Moving on to into the race, we'll start with, this isn't in a good order at all, manual pit lane. So last year, in terms of braking for the pit entry line and getting the speed down, that was reintroduced to the game, so that was brilliant. But we need more control realistically in the pits. Like stopping for the guys, all the engineers getting the tyres ready, the jackman and everything, just like it was back in F1 2010. Why can't we bring that back in so you can knock the front jackman over? That was hilarious back in the day. But yeah, I think we should be able to brake for that, and maybe for like the tyres and things to speed it up, like a minigame from, I think it was F1 2006 Championship Edition, where you had to press a combination of buttons and that could make your pit stop slower. That would bring out more randomized pit stop times, and it would be in the driver's hands. I think that would be a good thing to reintroduce into the game. Moving down on my list, we have the formation lap. So the formation lap was finally introduced to the Codemasters F1 series. I wasn't that excited about this, because what happened with the formation lap in this game is exactly how I predicted for myself. The first few times, yeah, it was great warming up the tyres and things and the brakes. Then I got bored. Now I've turned it off. I just don't bother with it. I really can't be bothered. It's just a waste of time in my opinion. But obviously people like that for the realism. Like online in terms of a league race, yeah, it does build up the tension. That is pretty good. But you don't have control for like the last couple of corners of the track, which is absolutely stupid. You should be able to line the car up on the grid, and if you cock it up, the AI takes over your ghost, just like it is at the moment. So hopefully for 2017 that gets added, so you have more control. As the player, we need more control, we want more control. It makes it more exciting, more fun, and it's exactly what is needed. So moving on to the F1, well, the official F1 HUD. Considering this is the official F1 game, why don't we have the official graphics and HUD? Like FIFA, for example. Obviously that has the official Premier League logos and strips and things. We have the official car liveries and team badges and things, but we don't have the TV HUD. I don't know why that is. It would make the game look so much better. There'd be more information on screen. Obviously not at once, like different graphics would come up. I think that would make things look so much better and make it more realistic. I mean, more control, more realism. I think that's what most people want for this game. So moving on, I think more onto modes now, like classic stuff, the journey, that kind of thing could come in, scenario modes. But first, I'll go on to the classic content. So, F1 2013, Codemasters made a bit of a statement bringing in classic cars and tracks, and considering I'm currently doing a series and have one planned on F1 2013 for the classic content, which I'd recommend you do go check out. I think bringing that back would be absolutely brilliant, because it was so enjoyable just driving in the old cars in the 80s and 90s, and some old tracks that I used to watch when I used to grow up. Well, I can't believe I just said that. But some tracks that I watched while I was growing up, like Imola, I didn't see Brands Hatch, Jerez, I saw Jerez, and what was the other one? Estoril. I think I might have seen a race there, I can't really remember, but they were great tracks. It was so nostalgic and just so much fun. The cars just had a different feel. I know it's going to be difficult for Codemasters or anyone to get the licenses, and it probably will cost a lot of money, especially with like old teams that have changed hands over the years. Deaths of drivers, for example, that could be very difficult. It's a difficult situation, really. Like, for example, everyone wanted Ayrton Senna with the classic content. I understand that would be very difficult to do because just licensing, the family's emotions, it really is a deep situation, but it would be brilliant and it was so much fun. So if they could bring that back with maybe older cars as well, maybe from the 60s and 70s, I don't know if that's going back a bit too far, but more cars, more drivers, obviously, more tracks as well. Just bring back some of the classics. That would be absolutely brilliant. Like the old Spa circuit, for example. I know it used to be like 7 miles long or something. Absolutely crazy if we could get that into the game. But just a few things would be brilliant, like 2013. In terms of just general game modes, I've come up with a few things like split screen. I don't personally play split screen, but I understand if you have some friends over, you want to be racing with each other if you can. I'm not completely sure if that's in the game or not, but if you could have like 4-player split screen, that would be pretty fun. Though I don't tend to do that because my friends are pretty good at racing games, so I'm like the only one that's pretty good. So that's why I tend to race online. Another one would be scenario mode. It was in the past games, I think 2013 and 2014. Personally, I also wouldn't play that too much, but like general challenges, because back in the old games, 2013 and 2014, the scenarios were far too easy, I've got to say. I'm not like the greatest driver in the world, the quickest driver, but still, they were just far too easy. And if Codemasters could recreate scenarios from real life and get them into the game, that would be awesome. I mean, who wouldn't want to, for example, with 20 laps to go, be driving as Jenson Button, down in last position, it's absolutely chucking it down in Montreal, and your aim is to win the race, the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix. That would be absolutely epic, just recreating scenarios like that, and that would definitely get people playing this mode more often, and give it a bit of longevity with, I don't know, leaderboards, medals. I know they included that in the past, but it was just far too easy. You got bored after the first time trying the challenge. Another one, I think, looking at FIFA once again, it would be very interesting to have a journey mode. I have played the journey a little bit in FIFA, not too much, but having that in F1, obviously it would be very different with cutscenes and things. It might be difficult as well, like, because you'd have your driver coming through GP2 and driving in lower formulas. Personally, I don't know how it would work, but if it was included, it would be something very different and very interesting. And then things like unlockable content, that could kind of tie in with the classic. It's really difficult once again because of licensing. Yeah, FOM are really bitchy about this kind of thing. This game, F1 game, could have so much potential, but FOM, I don't think really understand the gaming community, if I'm honest. I don't have that much information about it, but it just seems that way. So with the new guys coming in, I've got Liberty Media. I don't know if things would change, but if they did change and licensing and things were a lot easier to get hold of, then maybe in a couple of years I reckon things could change and improve for us. But hey, that's a long way away. So unlockable content like cars and things, just like you can build up virtual currency and you can buy things in a shop. I'm not completely sure what, maybe cars, tracks, liveries, race suits, kind of like kind of like FIFA actually. Once again, I'm going to keep using FIFA as an example. Like is it the EA Sports catalog where you can unlock classic strips and things? That is really good. I mean, it used to be better a couple of years ago. There's not so much in there, but still there's options. And if you want to, some people want to unlock and complete the game 100%. That would keep people playing. The longevity in this in F1 2016 isn't really there for me. Apart from career mode, there's not too much else. So just little challenges and things like that could keep people playing more, well, playing the game more overall. And we're not even into career mode or online videos yet. Looking down my list, strategy, weather, AI, being retards. I apologise for that. No, the AI are very dumb when it comes to strategy. I say it in a lot of career mode races. For example, there's a safety car on the first lap and the safety car stays out for 3 laps. Tyres are scheduled to last for 4 laps, for example. So all the AI will pit on lap 4. It doesn't make sense in terms of strategy. The tyre wear could be at like 30% and they will still go into the pits. The AI need to learn to adjust their strategy for the safety car, virtual safety car, and the weather, because it makes absolutely no sense at times. So, for example, their tyres are 40% worn, but their strategy at the start was to pit on a certain lap. Weather's coming, it's drizzling at the moment, heavy rain is coming in a couple of laps. In real life you would stay out, obviously, state the obvious, the human player would stay out, but no, the AI go in. It does help you out in the race, but you want to have a challenge, and it needs to be more realistic. The decisions are just so poor by the AI, and yeah, that's something Codemasters need to implement, to consider. In terms of strategy, once again, well, talking about the safety car, we might as well bring in the red flag again. We wouldn't see it that often, but when there's a huge pile-up blocking the track in Monaco, there should be a red flag. I mean, cars get disqualified at the moment, so like a mass crash, 6 or 7 cars get disqualified. I've had that in a couple of races. It isn't realistic, it's pretty stupid, and the AI times are stupid, so they will not move out of each other's way. They'll block the track and move backwards and forwards in weird motions, and yeah, the AI times are pretty dumb. In terms of racing as well, that's a big thing. Like lap 1, once again, why the AI just follow each other in a straight line, like into turn 1, they follow each other but leave the inside open so you can dive bomb them and make up a number of positions, and it's got better year by year, but still it's not there. It is not enough. The AI just need to be smart, and when they're racing each other, 2 AI cars side by side give each other far too much room, and it allows them to be side by side for virtually half a lap. They will slow each other up so much, they will make weird contact and spin out at times. It is unrealistic, and it does hit the human driver again, but the AI are dumb. They really are dumb. They have improved each year, but they are still dumb. They need to fight better. What would be a good example? Project Cars. I know that's a bit of an extreme example. I think the AI are pretty decent in that. They are far too aggressive, but in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing, they are pretty good. And yeah, it makes it more enjoyable overall. What else? There isn't too much left on my list. ERS, the ERS, Energy Recovery System. I am not the most technical F1 fans. I don't know completely how the ERS works. I'm going to presume it's kind of like KERS, but lasts for, I think it's about 30 seconds. The driver deploys it in real life, so why can't we? Yeah, it would make it realistic, because you see the flashing light on the car ahead, but say in a league race, for example, they're harvesting their ERS, but they're not using it themselves, which doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, that would mean the user probably pressing a button quite often, so a bit of a balancing act there, but we should have control over how we deploy our ERS, because it would aid in overtaking, for example. I mean, things like Slipstream, far too powerful in this game. It just adds so much straight line speed. It's unrealistic. I mean, we want to be able to overtake. It is a game after all, but to be overtaking all the time, every time you get in a car slipstream, you can just blast past them from nearly a second behind. Even with DRS a second behind, you will blast past the car. DRS, in real life at times, it makes it very easy to overtake, but not as easy as it is in the game. And I think the final thing for me here in terms of just general gameplay, random grids, I think that would be pretty cool. For example, for a YouTube series, in my case, say I set up the qualifying grid from the Australian qualifying session. I could then do the race on the Saturday night and kind of simulate what happens before the Sunday, the full Grand Prix. And yeah, that would be an interesting series. But random grids, just to make things, just randomize things. I know I'm not really describing it very well, but have the quick guys at the back, the slow cars at the front, and just mix things up. Create different scenarios. Make enjoyable races, make enjoyable videos, and you used to be able to do that, I remember, in F1 2000. I used to always put the fast guys at the back, and like the Minardis and the Arrows at the front, and it made for very enjoyable racing, I've got to say. I used to always do the Ram Monza as well, not too sure why, but those have been my ideas for the F1 2017 game. That is just general ideas. I will be making another video for online and career mode. If you do have any ideas as well, do leave comments in the comments in the comment section, and subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.